So if you are interested in selling your house in 2023, this could be a perfect video for you. So I'm going to run through the marketing and sales approach that I've taken with a lot of my clients in order to get their home sold in the current 2023 housing market. So one thing I always say is you got one shot to make a first impression with buyers. And this includes everything from how's your home presented? Is it clean? Is it staged? Have little repairs been done? What does the house look like as soon as a buyer walks through? That's super important. And we're going to assume that all that has already been done. The next portion of getting your home ready is how is it marketed to buyers? How have you priced your house? Okay, so you get one shot to do all those things, and it's important to make sure that it's done correctly. Because if it is done correctly, it's marketed correctly, it's priced correctly, what it's going to do is increase the buyer pool that's potentially interested in your house. And the best thing you can do as a seller is to expose your house to as many interested and qualified buyers as possible. And that's the name of the game. We want as many people as we can walking through that front door and taking a look at your house. Because when that happens, it increases the chances of getting multiple offers. And when you have multiple offers on your house, you're able to choose as a seller. And there's nothing better than having choices as a seller. You're not stuck to one offer and feel obligated to take that one offer. So if things are done correctly and you're capitalizing on the conditions in the market, like right now we got a huge seller's market going, there's not a lot of inventory, there's a ton of buyers looking. So if you do things correctly from a marketing and sales and pricing perspective, it'll increase the chances that you get options as a seller and you can select from maybe multiple offers to figure out which one's best for you, because every offer is going to have different components of it outside of just the purchase price. So that's what we're going to try to do, and that's my goal of going through this sales and kind of marketing strategy that I take with my sellers. It's to expose your home and give you options so you can pick the best offer that works for you. All right, so let's dive into kind of how this process works. The first thing that I'm doing with the seller is educating them on the real estate market. So we're going to kind of look at things from a bird's eye view. We're going to look at maybe Cleveland as a whole, or whatever area you're selling your house in. We're going to look at that city as a whole, and I'm just going to give you an idea of like, hey, here's some market trends, and here's the type of market that we're seeing right now. Maybe it's a buyer's market, maybe it's a seller's market, and just give you an idea for average sale prices and those type of things in that city as a whole. And then we're going to zoom in on your local market. What that does is it allows you to compare your neighborhood to the city as a whole. So maybe you're in a neighborhood that's very desirable and the sale prices are much higher than the averages in that city. Or maybe it's flip-flop the other way around. So that's something really important to look at because it'll give us an idea of how likely it is that we can get this thing sold quickly because of the desirability from buyers to come live in that neighborhood. So then, like I said, we're going to zoom in on your specific neighborhood, and we're going to look at anywhere from, quarter mile to a mile radius around your house. And we're going to look at things like average sale price, average list price, the number of days on market. So this means how long your house is sitting on the market before sellers are accepting an offer. Okay. And so I'm going to pull out a bunch of data points to try to paint a picture for you as a seller to give you an idea of what's going on in the market and kind of what to expect as soon as we put your house on the market. And is this going to be a process that's going to take a weekend, or is this going to be a process that could take a month before your house sells? And a lot of that depends on, our pricing strategy and the condition and location of your home. But we want to look at market trends so you have a better understanding of what's going on in the market before we put your house on the market. Another thing that we're looking at is buyer trends. So what type of buyers are moving into this area? Are these cash buyers? We're seeing a lot of cash deals get done. Or are people getting conventional loans? Or maybe it's in a heavy FHA neighborhood. So some of these things, if we see certain trends or definite trends from buyers, we may need to alter kind of how we're marketing the house or how we're preparing the house to get on the market. So long story short is I just try to give the best market update possible to a seller so they can wrap their head around, okay, got it. I see what type of market we're in. It's a competitive market for buyers, or maybe it's more favorable for buyers, and this may take a little bit longer than we expected. But I just try to give the seller as much information as possible about their local market so they're not shocked by anything once we get the home on the market. Once we're done with the market update and you have a better understanding as a seller of what's going on in your local neighborhood as a whole, we're going to move on to comparable homes or comps. So we're going to look at houses that are similar to yours and evaluate and look at how much they're selling for, and more importantly, what buyers are willing to pay. So comps are a great way to determine what's going on with the buyers. What are they willing to pay, and what type of houses are they looking for, and what houses are going for top dollar, which ones are sitting for a little bit longer, and where does my house stack up to those. So when I'm pulling comps, I like to pull anywhere between 3 to 5 properties. So I like to keep it as simple as possible, not overwhelm you as a seller. And we're going to kind of look at 3 different types of properties that are hopefully within about a quarter mile or a half mile to yours. First type of property we're going to look at is something that, in my opinion, is valued lower than where we should list your house. And so maybe this house needs a little bit more work, or it doesn't offer some of the same features that your house does. So maybe it's got one less bedroom, maybe it's got no AC, something like that. So a house that is at a lower price point to where I think we should list your house. The second comp we're going to look at is something that I feel is spot on with the condition and value of your own home. So we're going to look at a property that has closed and sold and been bought by a buyer that has similar beds, baths, square footage, and similar condition to yours. And this is going to tell us that, hey, if we list close to this price, there's a chance that it may sell for this number. Okay. And so it's just going to give us a lot of information on where we should target or what price range we should target when we go to list your house. I'm also going to pay extra attention to the houses that are most comparable to yours to see what type of environment that house was bought in. And so sometimes in the MLS notes, I can read and see if there was a multiple offer situation. And if that's the case, that tells me that, hey, there wasn't just one buyer that was interested in buying this house. There was a handful, possibly a handful, more than 2. Okay. And so that's an attractive price point to multiple buyers. We should keep that in mind when we go to list your house. And the last comp is I'm going to show you some houses that, in my opinion, are valued higher than where we should price your house. So maybe these houses have way more updates, or maybe they're slightly bigger, or they sit on a bigger plot of land or something like that. And so it's going to give you an idea of kind of below the value of your house, right at the value of your house, and then also above your house. And so this is going to tell us, again, hey, here's what buyers are actually paying right now for homes. Here's the condition of their homes. We're going to look through photos, and it's going to give us a good idea of where we should target to list your house. All right, so once we're done going through the market update, real estate market update for your specific neighborhood, and also reviewing comparable homes, you should start to have a really good idea as a seller and feel more comfortable with, got it, I understand what things are looking like in our market. And you can almost in your head start to have an idea of, hey, I think we should list our house here, or here's where our house stacks up with all these others. So once that part is done, I like to move into the actual marketing plan and walk through, hey, once we come up with a price, here's how we're actually going to get your house sold. And we do that, again, like I talked about before, we do that through exposure. We do that through getting as many people through the front door of your house as possible. That is the name of the game. Let's get as many people in here as possible and interested, and that'll increase the chances of us getting multiple offers, which allows you to have options as a seller. How the marketing plan works is the first thing I do is I talk through timeline. So it's really important that we list the house on the correct day. And so it sounds obvious, but towards the later end of the week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we start to see more showings because buyers are maybe not working. They got the day off. They have more time to go see houses. So I like to activate homes on Thursday night, with Friday being the first day of showings. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we'll have showings. We'll also have open houses, which we'll get into in a minute. But that's how I usually like to do it, is Thursday evening, seller or buyers will be able to see that the house is active and it's on the market. Then the first day of showings will be that Friday. All right. And then the next thing we do in terms of marketing is use the neighborhood, the local neighborhood, to market for you. So more often than not, people move into a neighborhood because they know somebody that already lives there, maybe a friend or a family member, whoever it may be. So what we like to do is either hand out mailers or make calls to people right in the neighborhood. So we'll do the nearest, anywhere from 200 to 500 neighbors. We'll give them a call or send them a postcard that says, hey, we've got a new listing coming to your neighborhood. Here's when it's going to be on the market. Here's a little bit about the house. If you know anyone that's interested, or you're interested yourself, please swing by the open house on this day. So we see huge success with that. Like, let the neighborhood market for you, because the neighbors talk, and more often than not, like I said, people are moving into a neighborhood where they already know somebody. The next thing that I'm doing is I think it's really important to market to pre-approved quality buyers. So buyers that have been pre-approved by a lender and they're ready to make an offer on a house. How do I find these buyers? I go to the top agents, top buyers agents in that area. So what I do is I make calls to the top 20 buyers agents that work the neighborhood where we're listing your house. And I don't care what brokerage or office they're from. I just want quality agents who are representing quality pre-approved buyers to know about your house. So I'm making those calls and just simply saying, hey, we got a new house coming to the market. I see you do a lot of business in the neighborhood. If you have any more buyers that are interested, feel free to swing by the open house or schedule a private showing. Next thing I'm doing is I'm marketing the house to my specific brokerage's office. So we have over 400 agents in my specific office. So I'm making sure I'm sending a message out to each and every one of them and just saying, hey, we got a new home that's hitting the market. It's over here in Cleveland Heights. It's 3-bed, 2-bath. It's going to be listed at this price. Showings start Friday. Feel free to swing by the open house on Saturday and Sunday as well. So again, I'm going right to the source of quality pre-approved buyers, and I'm using the real estate agents to get there. Up next, and this is a super important one, is we're going to market your house in the MLS. So when you list a house with us, it's going to go in the MLS, the multiple listing service. And from there, it's going to get pulled to hundreds of different websites. So Zillow, Realtor.com, even other brokerages' websites are going to pull from the MLS and advertise your house for you. Okay. And so again, the more exposure and more marketing that we can do with your house, the better. It's going to increase the chances of more people coming through the front door and increase the chances of getting multiple offers on your house. So listing it in the MLS, then also listing it on all of our social media platforms are going to help drive exposure online and get as many people either scheduling showings with their agent or swinging by the open house. Which brings us to open houses. So all of this marketing that we're doing to local agents, to the neighbors, to my specific office, phone calls, mailers, all those type of things are to drive traffic to the open houses that first weekend. So there'll be showings that start like on that Friday, like I said, but also we're going to hold an open house that's open to the public on Saturday and Sunday. And the goal is to have as many people as possible walking through there. So when somebody rolls up to the open house, they're walking around the house, it's presented well, it's clean, it shows really well, and they're looking around and there's 10, 15, 20 other people that are coming in and out. This is just going to drive the competition around your home and let people know that, hey, if you're serious about making an offer, you should do it quickly. You should do it in an aggressive manner and send a competitive offer because there's more people that are interested. And then the last thing, which supports all of this marketing, is we take professional photos. So as everybody knows, people are making decisions from the palm of their hand in their phone, right? They're sitting on their couch, scrolling either through Instagram or through Zillow or some of these other real estate websites, and they're looking at photos and determining whether or not they should go to an open house, schedule a showing, or buy a house. And so you want to make sure that the photos that you're using are not from your iPhone, but they're taken by a professional real estate photographer, and your house is displayed in the best way that it possibly can. So that quickly is a rundown of the marketing plan. Again, the main goal of that is to simply get as much exposure and as many people coming through the front door as we possibly can. All right, once we're done reviewing the marketing plan, we get to the pricing strategy. So this is always the biggest topic of conversation when I'm working with sellers. They want to know where to list their house, okay? And one thing before I get into the pricing strategy that I like to remind sellers of is, listen, where we list your house, the list price is not necessarily the sales price. So there's a big difference between list price and sales price, and that's something that will be reviewed when we go through that first step of the market update. So you can see, hey, on average, things are selling above or below list price. So just remember that when you go to list your home or come up with the right price for your house, that the list price is different than the sales price. So there's really three ways that we like to price a house, or that we can price a house. Number one is a quick sale. So we can put your house on the market for substantially lower than what the true value of your house is, with the intention of just getting it sold quickly. So if you're a seller that just needs the deal done as quickly as possible and you're not really concerned with getting as much money as you can, you just need it done quickly, then maybe we list your house 10, 15% lower than anything else that's comparable to your home. So that's number one. The second way is we can kind of have a long shot price. So maybe you really want to get $400,000 for your house, but nothing else in the neighborhood is sold, over $350,000. okay, and you are confident that there's going to be one buyer in the world that sees your house, loves it, and is going to pay that $400,000. So this is something that I run into frequently with sellers. They feel their house is worth something that maybe buyers in the market are not supporting or not showing that they think that's what it's worth as well. So we could list it at that price, but just know that it may take a long time for that one buyer to come through and see the same value that you see in the house. Okay, so that's the second way you could list your house, is at that long shot number, which again may take a longer period of time to get the house sold. And then the third and the highly recommended way to list your house is at a competitive sale price or competitive list price. So we're going to look at all the averages. We're going to look at the market data. We're going to look at comparable homes and what buyers are paying for homes that are similar to yours. And we're going to kind of take those averages and say, hey, here's a competitive number that if we list it here, not only do we think we're going to get a ton of people through the front door, scheduling showings or coming to the open house, but this is a number where buyers are going to know that they may need to go above that number in order to secure the house, because there's going to be multiple people that are interested. So this is where the price drives up. So as soon as you put it at that number and you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4 offers, buyers know that they got to come with their highest and best. But you got to list it at that sweet spot to begin with and not deter people from coming to see it in the first place because the price is so high. So those are the 3 ways that we do it. And from those, we'll come up with a number together that most importantly you as a seller are comfortable with. And then we'll kind of support it through our marketing strategy from there. Then the final step to the marketing and sales strategy that I have is, once we've come up with that list price, I put together a seller net sheet for all my clients. And so when you're selling your house, what people want to know more often than not is, how much money am I going to make? So the list price and the sale price is not necessarily how much money you're going to take away once the house sells. So I put together a net sheet which takes the purchase price of the home, so whatever that contract purchase price is, and it subtracts things like closing costs, title fees, real estate commissions paid to your realtor and to the buyer's agent as well. And then it also takes away any existing mortgage payment that you might have still to pay on your house. It's going to take that away from that purchase price. And then also it's going to account for things like prorated property taxes. So you're going to pay property taxes on that house up until the day that it closes. And then once all those things are taken out, you're going to have a seller net down at the bottom of that sheet. And that's going to tell you how much money you can expect to walk away with once the house closes. Okay, so obviously super important. Maybe you're depending on that money to go put a down payment on another house, or maybe you are selling a house and this is going to go towards your retirement or relocating somewhere, whatever it may be. But it's a super important number to know and to understand. And then it also makes you that much more comfortable with the list price that you guys come up with. So that's the last thing I do, is I develop a seller net sheet for my sellers. And then we get to work, we get the house on the market, and hopefully it only takes a weekend and we're getting multiple offers, and you as a seller can decide which one's best for you.